Hi everybody, this is Andrei. I've been waiting to record this video for such a long time, honestly. And today we are announcing that we are shipping Luma-mu Eurorack modules. Well, something that Joybrit and myself thought that would be an easy project and quick to do became a very complicated and a complex design that took several months to polish since we introduced that earlier this year at NAMM 2025. And so today, all the units are ready, in-house, packed, available in the different configurations, and ready to ship as soon as you place the order. So no pre-order, no wait time, it's just here. So let's talk about what is actually this Eurorack module is about. If you didn't follow previously, well, I have to explain it a little bit to you because, well, it's not that simple as you may think about this. So first of all, this is a single channel of Luma-mu LM-1 drum machine. So same as Roger Linn LM-1, same as Luma-mu. This is plain sounds and it's a one channel. So what it means, it's a monophonic channel. It has the original authentic 40 years old 8-bit MULO, hence the name, DAC that we were able to secure in a large quantity to have this production running. Every time we do that for Luma-mu or for these modules, it gets more and more difficult to get this stock because these parts, they were produced, well, in 85, 86, some of them came from 82, so it's a 40 or 35, 40 years old parts, new old stock. Takes enormous amount of time to make sure that it's here and we are able to secure from all the places around the world, and the situation with tariffs doesn't help that, as you believe. So anyway, what this module is doing, it's playing the sounds that's located on the EPROM. So that's the first difference comparing to the Luma-mu. It's a single channel. It plays the sounds that is on the EPROM. So the difference is that unlike the single channel in the Luma-mu or LM-1, which is predefined to the sound that it's playing, this one can change sounds while playing. So on the single EPROM, you have 8 sounds total. Each sound, 8-bit sound, the up to 1.5 seconds of the sample time of each. And you have 8 of them on a single EPROM. And you can select, so that's a reason for having a screen here. And you you either select that the potentiometer or the CV voltage. And so you can select it while playing. You don't need to stop the playing. And you can also use, so what it means, you can use different sounds at different time. So like a bass snare, you can play it from a single channel, even it's a monophonic channel, by quickly changing the sound that you are playing. Is just an easy example, right? So it could be way more complicated and go to the glitch territory of what you can do with Eurorack. And that is one of the advantages of a Eurorack in general that you cannot do with the Luma-1 or LM-1 drum machine. So that's the first. The second one, of course, you can control the pitch of that sound. That is basically the speed of the sound playback. And very similarly to the LM-1 and Luma-1, this pitch is controlled by the timer circuitry. So there is no microcontroller that's driving this. There is no microcontroller that's playing this. There is no microcontroller at all in this design. All of that based on the simple logic chips, which, first of all, predefines how accurate it's playing. So you always have the nanosecond of the just a delay between you hit the trigger and you hear the first sample to be played. And that's the advantage of playing everything in the hardware without any microcontroller involved. So there is no jitter, there is nothing that you could ever imagine about this. So the pitch is controlled by the 555 timers, similarly like in the LM1. And so these timers are not perfect. They are not linear. The whole clock also has a variability. There is no thermal compensation, and that's what contributes to the sound of all the vintage drum machines, including this, and of course including this as well. But what you can also do, you can control this pitch through the CV voltage. You can control it through a potentiometer. This has a clear shaft, same as this, because, well, now you can see then the sound is actually triggered. And then you have a CV applied. This potentiometer controls the offset of the pitch, so you can fine-tune the pitch. It's not linear. It's never linear control, because it controls the timer itself. But you can do various things with this by sending the CV gate. You can also externally clock that. So if you don't want to have this circuit, this 555 timer, to control the playback speed, you can provide the external clock. Let's say you provide 20 kilohertz external clock, and that will be a 20 kilohertz playback speed. So that's another part of the Eurorack design that's not even feasible within this design. You also have a control over dynamics. What dynamics is? So in fact, the way how for instance, the channels on the LM1 or Luma-1 are working, for instance, the bass channel, where you have the lower volume and a higher volume, this is basically controlling the voltage, reference voltage on the DAC itself. So there's no VCA as such, but by controlling the reference voltage of the DAC, you actually control the loudness of that DAC. And we were able to adopt this circuitry for the external CV input as well. So that's why it's here, and that's why potentiometer is here. So you can really use it as a VCA. The difference here is that by controlling the reference voltage of the DAC, you're also controlling the character, how it sounds. So on a lower reference voltage, on a lower volumes, then it will sound differently than on the nominal reference voltage. Then you have the CV inserted. This potentiometer is still operational, and it controls the offset. All the CV voltages here from -5 to +5 voltage, so it's a 10 volt range. But these potentiometers, when you have CV inserted, they set you the offset, and that's the case for the pitch, that's the case for the sample select. So you can select the samples with the CV, and this potentiometer is still working, and it just sets you the offset from the applied CV voltage. Very, very handy. So it took us time to develop that exactly to the specs of the Eurorack, and of course there are always challenges when you deal with the analog circuitry to the digital conversion. And as I said, there is no microcontroller, so all of that is very, very predefined. The three other parameters here, so one is a trigger. That is basically you press the button, you start playing the sound, and that's what the trigger is doing. So of course that's a way you connect it basically to your sequencer. Then there is a pause. What pause is doing is quite an interesting way that's again not achievable on the full drum machine. It's only possible within these rack modules. So while playing the sound, let's say I play the half of a sound and the pause gate coming in, and I pause my playback until the gate presence on this input. As soon as I remove the gate, so it goes to the 0 voltage, then the sound continues playing. And by doing that, I can introduce like all of these glitchy effects and the different type of scenarios where I can well, pause the sound and continue playing them and so on. Similar for reset, but what reset is doing, you play the sound, like say half of a sound again, you send a reset, and instead of pause, like with pausing, it just stops playback and goes to the 0 position. So that's a way to chop the sounds, and by applying the trigger and reset quickly after that, you can really determine how much of that sound is being played. Amazing. Not possible here, and only possible with the Eurorack scenario. What you see on the back, as I said, you have an EPROM. And there is a very easy way to replace these EPROMs because it's installed into the ZIF socket. What ZIF stands for, zero insertion force socket. So it means that there is a latch here. I just open the latch, and now I can remove the EPROM, put a different EPROM, and close it. And so no soldering, no any special tools needed. Where you can find the new EPROMs? Well, the trick is Luma tools. Web tools that we designed with help of our another great customer, Greg Simmons. The tools for controlling Luma-mu are the same tools which are available at http://luma.tools. You just select the Luma-mu module here, and you have a web browser. You have to open that in Chrome. Well, actually, you can open in a different browser because all it does, you drop the sounds there, you cut the sounds, and you create a bank of 8 sounds because, as I said, every EPROM contains 8 sounds. And then what it does, it saves the image back. And then you have 2 options. Option number 1, easy. Take that image that you created, send it to us. We will burn the EPROM for you and ship it your way. So that is quick turnaround service, but it involves shipping. Option 2, you have the image sound, and you can buy inexpensive Chinese EPROM programmers and a bunch of EPROMs of a special kind, and you can burn as many as you want yourself. For some of these, well, that can be okay if you want to replace the EPROM every time. You have to unscrew this, remove it, and put a different EPROM. Or maybe you do that once and completely forgot about this forever. But there is another option, like I have here with this scenario. There is a module called Luma Reach Around, and what Luma Reach Around is doing is basically it extends this socket to the front. So the module itself is passive, it's nothing but the extender. Of course, it will take the extra space of your Eurorack system, but it's very convenient if you're replacing that often. And if you want to play with the different sounds and so on and so forth. Some of the Luma-mus may have a reach around, others don't have to. And again, that's the optional part. So that's how you deal with EPROMs. This is not only that. There is another option, this project called EPROM. And what you can see here, well, that's actually the board itself, and it has the USB-C socket here. So you can put this EPROM instead of actual EPROM. You can put it inside here, lock it in position, and you can connect USB cable. And this is not our project. That is open source project that you can buy from the founder of this project, or you can buy it through us. And basically, you have tools for the Mac or for the PC that allow you to put different images. So it's like a programmable EPROM over USB. So it gives you the ability to burn your ROMs quickly. For instance, if you want to develop this and you don't want to ship the images to us and we send the actual, or you don't want to erase EPROMs every time, this is much quicker than you are developing. And so that's another option. All right, so we talked about this. Finally, don't be confused. This is not just a drum module. This can be also waveform oscillator. And the way how it works, on the back side there is a jumper, a red jumper here. You remove it, and if you remove it, instead of playing a one-shot sounds like you would expect for the drum module, it will be always playing the sound as soon as you hit trigger. So what it does, it never stops. And so imagine that if you don't put the drum sound, but instead of a drum sound, you put a perfectly aligned waveform here of a different kind. And as I said earlier, on a single EPROM, you can put up to 8 sounds. So all of these 8 waveforms will be the same number of cycles, perfectly aligned, and they will have a different shape. In fact, that can be your waveform oscillator. And there are some examples of other products from the legacy and the heritage. Well, PPG was doing that. So you may achieve the same class of the effects playing through the 8-bit DAC. Just something that could never be possible with these machines, but only possible with the Eurorack. We provide you the tools. Again, we provide you the guidance how you can build your own waveforms, and there are some commercial tools available as well that specifically designed to do the, I don't know, waveforms for serum, for instance. It's just the first example that came to my mind. Or waveforms for, I don't know, third wave groove synthesis. Another example. Anyway, that would be your waveform oscillator. And so to pitch it differently, of course you use the input on the pitch, but this is never linear, as I said, and that can give you a lot of interesting effects. And with some other modules like expert slippers, you can create a curve that will make it linear and can train it what should be the reference of the CV to the reference frequency provided. Anyway, I'm so excited. We are finally out. We are finally shipping these. Joe and I, we spent months of polishing these. Since we introduced the prototype design at NAMM, we still had to deal with some hardware updates and then few more hardware updates, and then few more, and of course then the tariffs, and then the shipping, and getting the parts, and these all produced here in California. However, well, the front panel is made here 1 hour away from me. The PCBs are made in San Francisco. The assembly is here, but we rely on the parts. And to get this quantity of DACs took us a lot of time. So I'm finally happy that everything is ready. Everything is packed, and I hope you will enjoy. And I hope you will build a big Eurorack system with tens of these modules, and I'm eager to see what you can do with this. I'm just scratching the surface. What are the potential of these? And so the final note that we really wanted to make it price competitive. There are lots of labor, there are lots of the manual labor as well to assemble these, but we wanted to make it price competitive. So for the Eurorack modules, you don't need to pay a lot to get access to these sounds. And that was another idea that we had in mind. So with that, let's play some more sounds and see you later. Goodbye.